The morning at Kruger National Park begins with a strong, white ray of sunlight, stretching across short green grass interspersed with patches of dry earth. Emily Carter, a young conservationist, stood silently on the familiar trail, her slightly worn canvas backpack slung over her shoulder. She took a deep breath of the dry, hot air characteristic of the South African savanna, savoring the rare moment of peace. Years working at Kruger taught Emily to listen to nature before listening to herself. The acacia trees in the distance swayed gently in the wind, heralding another seemingly ordinary day. Until the phone in her hand vibrated softly, completely shattering the moment of silence. Messages from frontline rangers indicate an adult male lion is in danger near the southern edge of the reserve. Emily's expression changed instantly, her composure giving way to the familiar anxiety of a lifeguard. She understood that, at Kruger, every call like that could be a race against time. Emily quickly contacted the rescue team, preparing for a journey whose outcome was unknown. On the edge of Kruger National Park's dense forest, the male lion lay motionless amidst the tall grass, its massive, heavy body looming. Its dark golden mane was covered in dust, indicating it had been lying there for hours. The lion's chest rose and fell weakly, each breath becoming heavy and slow. Its eyes were still open and alert, but it no longer had the strength to stand up or run away. The rangers approached from a distance, maintaining a safe distance in accordance with the procedures at Kruger. Emily stood behind him, her heart aching at the sight of the symbol of the prairie's strength now so fragile. There was no blood, no aggression, only lingering fatigue and exhaustion. No one spoke, but everyone understood that every passing minute was incredibly important. Without timely intervention, the lion might never get up again. The rescue team quickly agreed on the safest and most humane course of action. The rangers began a professional rescue operation right in the middle of the sunny, windswept Kruger Prairie. Each step was performed slowly and precisely, ensuring the safety of both humans and lions. The lion gradually fell into a safe, unconscious state under the care of the veterinary team. Emily stood not far away, her hands clenched, her eyes never leaving that large body. The first aid kits were neatly arranged on the ground, and the atmosphere became suffocatingly tense. The only sound that echoed in that moment of life and death was the rustling of the wind through the dry grass. Only when the lion lay completely still did the whole team breathe a sigh of relief. This was not just a rescue, but a timely intervention in the fate of a wild animal. Emily bowed her head slightly, as a silent promise that it would not be abandoned. The lion was prepared to be transported to Kruger's care facility in absolutely safe conditions. At the Kruger National Park Central Rescue Station, the lion is housed in a separate, quiet area. Layers of white bandages were carefully wrapped around the large body, covering the treated wounds. Emily often sat outside the enclosure, observing the lion's every slightest movement. She meticulously recorded every sign of her recovery in the notebook that has stayed with her for many years. As the lion gradually regained consciousness, its eyes no longer held the bewildered look they had in the early days. Emily always kept a safe distance, respecting its wild instincts. There is no hurried caressing, only patient and persistent presence. A rescue station is not a home, but merely a necessary temporary stop. The recovery is slow but steady, with each passing day bringing new hope. The lion began eating again, a clear sign that its vitality was returning. After weeks of treatment, the bandages on the lion's body were gradually removed. Kruger's golden mane gleamed brightly in the characteristic white sunlight. The lion walked through the semi-wild area with a steady and confident gait. Emily watched from a distance, a feeling of indescribable relief welling up inside her. There is no longer direct intervention, only quiet observation and respect. The lion began to exhibit its alert instincts again, observing its surroundings. All signs indicate it is ready to return to the wild. This is the fine line between caring and letting go that Emily constantly grapples with. The Kruger Rangers unanimously agreed that the day for release back into the wild had arrived. An important chapter is about to close, making way for true freedom. The gates of Kruger National Park's semi-wild area open into a sun-drenched prairie. The male lion walked out slowly, its body perfectly healthy, with no bandages left on it. It paused for a moment, taking a deep breath of the familiar free air. Emily stood at a distance, her hands hanging loosely at her sides, not taking a single step forward. There were no calls, no greetings, only a respectful silence. The lion turned its head and looked back one last time, its eyes deep and calm. It wasn't a look of dependence, but rather a quiet acknowledgement. Then it turned its back and strode forcefully toward the dense forest. The Kruger forest gradually closed in behind that majestic figure. Nature has officially welcomed back a king of the steppe. Years passed, and Emily Carter returned to Kruger looking more mature. The subtle signs of time have appeared on her face, but her eyes remain as gentle as ever. She stood on the old path, where memories were once deeply etched in her mind. Suddenly, from the edge of the forest in the distance, a familiar figure appeared. The male lion stood still, staring straight at Emily. No roars, no threatening gestures, just a silent presence. Emily stood motionless, her heart pounding as she recognized that gaze. The distance between them remained unchanged, no one crossed the natural boundary. But in that silence, an old connection seemed to come alive again. Kruger witnessed a wordless but deeply emotional encounter. The lion approached, slowly and completely calmly. Emily lowered her posture, showing neither fear nor possessiveness. For a rare moment, she gently placed her hand on the lion's mane. The lion stood still, accepting the touch with absolute trust. There was no domestication, no power, only mutual respect. A faint smile appeared on Emily's face, mixed with deep emotion. That moment was brief, but it was enough to be etched into my memory for a lifetime. This is not a miracle, but the result of timely humanitarianism. That connection doesn't need explanation, it just needs to be felt. Then the lion stepped back, restoring the natural distance. The lion turned its back and strode steadily deeper into Kruger National Park. Emily stood watching, neither trying to stop him nor calling his name. Its majestic form gradually blends into the vast natural landscape. Since then, the lion has occasionally been spotted on the edge of the reserve. It never came near, and never drew attention. As a silent thank you to the people who helped it survive. Emily understood that genuine connections don't require constant presence. Just knowing that kindness once existed is enough. Kruger National Park will not forget the hands that acted at the right time. And that story quietly lives on amidst the sun-drenched, wind-swept prairie.